Hey, how about that? Live and in color.
We are. That is the International Morse Code Signal. That is the SOS. That marks the beginning of my program, Gilbert Talks Taxes, because, as we all know, taxation with representation has not been such a good idea either. Good morning, everyone. I am Gilbert Carmona, and this morning joining me in the studio is Emily.
Good morning.
We are two EAs. You have two EAs. We are enrolled agents. We are enrolled with the IRS. We are about taxation. My business is Carmona Financial Consultants. We prepare tax returns. We also do investments. We do financial consulting. But what we do is focus on tax issues, tax resolution, because every decision is a tax decision. Pretty much. I can't think, we have had people call us about everything, even like having children. We're thinking about having another child. How much money are we going to get for tax credits? Every decision in life is a tax decision. So the program is about taxation. For the next hour, we're going to do our best to make sense of the IRS and a few other things that are going on. We have two offices, one at 704 Oak Street, right next to Big Dave Seafood in Forest City, 704 Oak Street. I have another one in Tryon at 226 South Trade Street, the Art Deco building right off the historic downtown Tryon. One telephone number gets you an appointment at both locations. That is 828-289-9300. And we are doing tax returns. We are smack in the middle of it. We're doing, it's all hands on deck, full steam ahead. North Carolina started there. We received our first acknowledgments from North Carolina yesterday. Oh, it was a big deal. I was the only one in the office, but it was a big deal to me.
It has begun.
It has begun. Well, normally we do tax returns and we send them up the server. Now, the first day, the IRS said that the first day they're going to receive tax returns is January 29th. That was the official start date. But as we prepare and get tax returns done, especially a lot of business returns and individual returns, we go ahead and send them on to the server, as we call it, the modern e-file platform, and where they sit, and then the IRS brings over in batches. But since the 16th, we've been getting acknowledgments. We've been getting acknowledgments for almost 2 weeks now, and they're coming back accepted. So, but not North Carolina, just IRS. So what does that mean? Are you going to get your refund any sooner? I don't know. We don't know. It's too early to tell. But what it means is the system is working, which we are happy about. The system is working. So last night I got a batch of North Carolina acceptances back. I was very happy to see that because that's 3 days early also. 3 days early. So it is all hands on deck. We are doing tax returns. We are accepting new clients. Give us a call, 828-289-9300. Now, those of you live streaming us, can you see Emily there? Emily, reach around that monitor there. There, wave at the people. Here we are in the Aqua Room. In the Aqua Room, Lou, I have this conversation with my wife, and Lou agrees. It's not really blue, it's aqua. Yeah, I know. My engineer this morning, Tom, the ever cheerful Tom, yes, you sounded very cheerful this morning. And you had no issues getting it all going this morning? It was a smooth...
I ran the gremlins out.
Smooth transition. It was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous this morning. You had it going on. Todd came by the office the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about doing our remote, because Todd's the remote guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Brenda, I know you're listening. I want to do Gilbert Talks Taxes from your porch.
Have to cross the creek.
I can cross the creek. We'll bring all the equipment across the creek. We'll run a big extension cord. I want to do Gilbert Talks Taxes, and
It's like having a cord in the creek.
And I want to do it with Luther over at the cafe and having a biscuit and a coffee.
Yeah.
I want to do some remotes.
Yeah, well,
Washburn store. I know you guys listen.
1831 is when they started.
When?
1831.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Over at Washburn store.
Before the fall of the Alamo.
1831.
Yeah.
1831. That's incredible.
Well,
Do they have any of the original furniture? That's what I want to. Yeah, I want to sit there. Just pull up a couple of chairs there, and we'll come over and we'll do a live broadcast from Well, that's what it's about. That's what I love about this station. You know, I've been approached by other media to do some other things, and there are some other things that we've looked at over the years, and we're looking at. But I wanted this to be community based. I wanted this to be for the people here in Rutherford County, and of course, now that with the FM repeater, we get out there, people in Polk County are able to listen to us, and we've gotten feedback. Of course, the live stream, www.wcab59.com. They couldn't get the 0, by the way, Emily.
That's just the audio.
It cost
on that
more.
site.
It cost more. Yes, and if you want to see this, that's the audio on the Pure Country website. But if you go to YouTube, you can pick this up later because people have told me that they pick it up later. You will see me here in the Aqua Room. I hate when I do this. I wear blue on blue, and it looks like I'm just a shirt with a tie because it blends in. Okay, so Emily, we got a lot to talk about today. We've just got a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk about. You can tell I've been passing this around the office. Yeah, this is all crimpled up.
Well, mine's not much better.
You're going to be, and actually, I brought. Now, is it Epic or Epoch? That's the question.
I think it's Epoch.
I subscribe. I get the actual paper. I'm old school, Tom. I get the actual.
That's the way I like it.
Oh, yeah. I get the actual paper. I get the Epoch Times. The Epoch Times. Do you know, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it is a newspaper that originated by a Chinese dissident who left China because he got tired of things like organ harvesting and and minorities being put in concentration camps and, things like that. All those things that China does.
Like his printing press getting burned down?
Actually, they broke into his offices in China and destroyed all his printing presses. So he emigrated legally to the United States. And I think he went through Europe and then came to the United States and started here. And it is incredible. It's going on 20 years. But what's interesting about it, I've been a supporter of theirs for about 8 years now. Actually, for a couple of years, I advertised with them and just to support them. But the thing is, their app just surpassed the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC for downloads. The people want real news. People want real news. So this to me is good news because you wonder, is anybody paying attention to what's going on? They started just doing the stories that nobody else would touch. And they were on board with Trump in 2016. Actually, they were on board early with Trump 2015. But a couple of stories in here I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what's happening in Texas because what's happening in Texas affects us all. What does that have to do with taxes? Oh, a lot. And I'll segue into that because everything's about taxes, remember. And then Social Security. I mean, this is the first 2 pages of a national newspaper. What's on the second page? Taxes. Seniors on Social Security benefits may pay more taxes in 2024. See, there's a whole misunderstanding that once you start collecting Social Security, you're not going to pay any taxes. Well, that's true for some people, but not true for everyone else. And then I want to hit real quick on United States savings rates are plummeting. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and this is a major issue. Nobody in the media talks about this. We used to be a country of savers, Tom. You remember? If you needed money, where did you go when you were a young man? Who did you go when you needed money? You went and knocked on Grandma's door. Because Grandma always had, so Emily's nodding, she knows, Grandma had it in a mason jar, a cookie jar somewhere.
And a cookie.
And a cookie.
Cookie to boot.
I needed a car. Where'd I go? Not my parents. I went to Grandpa. I remember when $500 bought you a car?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't much of a car, but it was a car. Yeah, I mean, it got me to work. Oh, it cranked all right.
Yeah.
3 on the tree, and it ran. Oh yeah. I learned that long clutch. But we were a country of savers. It used to be the average American saved over 10% a year. Today, I'm going to tease it. Think. What do you think it is today? And when I come back, I'll give you the number. Okay, so we've only got 4 minutes. This is going to be a multi-break story. I'll tell you right now. multi-break story. Now, you were going to talk about the tax bill. I know you've been researching since, you've been burning the midnight oil researching about the tax bill.
I just woke up thinking about it.
Yeah, well, see, okay, that's what, folks, that's why you want to come to us, to have your taxes done. We wake up thinking about taxes. Me too. I actually woke up thinking about some tax law, and I got a situation. By the way, I talked to the IRS yesterday. I did get on the phone with them last night. I was on the phone at 8 o'clock at night with the IRS. Yeah.
In Mountain Time somewhere.
Actually, Pacific time.
Yeah.
I called them at 6:30, and it cycled through. It was fantastic. It was great. Anyway, this is what we do. This is our Friday night and our Saturday morning. Okay, let me get into. So you're going to talk about tax bill, but let's get into this. Let's go ahead and get into this first, because this is from the IRS. This just came out Tuesday, January 23rd. From the IRS Newswire. This is where you need that. This is where you need the Walter Winchell, intro. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. North and South America, and all the ships at sea. Let's go to press. IRS Newswire. IRSService.govdelivery.com. IRS Service. So this is IR 2420. This is actually an official IRS document. This isn't something I'm just like reading that some person said. This is an official dispatch. This is issue number IR 2024-19, the 19th one this year. IRS launches Simple Notice Initiative. I can't even read this with a straight face. Launches Simple Notice Initiative, redesign effort. So you can't even understand the headline. IRS launches Simple Notice Initiative, redesign effort.
It's an effort, because they can never simplify their notices.
They can never simplify their notices. So the reference is shorter, clearer letters to reduce taxpayer confusion.
Sure.
Even Tom gets it.
Okay, let's just... Why read the rest of the story? Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Shorter... And I'm reading all this, folks. I'm reading all this, okay?
No, come on.
I'm going to go...
million notices.
The IRS last year... Well, and this is an average, by the way. I looked it up. This is an average.
Average annual notices.
Average annual notices. The IRS sends out 170 million. So there are CP letters. I've explained all this. I've done whole programs on CP letters. They're computer-generated letters. So last 2022, we don't know the 2023 numbers yet. 2022, they issued 17 million CP letters that we affectionately call in the industry, you might owe letters.
Yeah. So
because the IRS, what happens is you get a letter saying, hey, Tom, you might owe. We've got some information. Typically, it's when you did your tax return, you didn't report something. You didn't report a W-2 because you forgot about that W-2. You forgot about a 1099. You forgot about something. And it's big enough to trigger a trigger where you might owe some money. Because a lot of these things are a non-trigger. In other words, you might get a 1099-R, but it's not going to have any effect on your tax return. So these are you might owe. By the way, they never send you a we might owe you letter. You never get you never get that letter. So somebody brought in a W-2 to me and said, "Oh, I was looking through my stuff and I had a 2022 W-2 that I didn't report." He said, it was here in the stack. What do we do? And I said, did you get any letters from the IRS? He said, no. I said, that means you're getting a refund. And sure enough, when I put it in there, and it was dollars, it wasn't like a big deal. Well, hey, listen, if they owe me $1, I want it. Okay, let's establish that. So there is no such thing as an irrelevant amount of money. But in Washington, you know, $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money. But so 17 million you might owe notices, and we're expecting in 2024 that number to be, Emily? I don't know. What's a conservative? Double?
Maybe.
34 million? That because now they're relying more on mail than they are live audits. 4 months ago, they said they're going to stop knocking on people's doors. They're not doing that. The IRS officially said they don't have the manpower and the people don't feel safe out there on the road doing it. Well, of course not. I mean, we're a heavily armed populace who just isn't afraid of our government anymore, which is going to get, that's a nice segue into the Texas thing.
But they are saying that they're going to crack down on their collection efforts. They gave everybody a break during COVID and they were relaxing on it, but now they're getting ready to crank that back up again.
They are cranking it back up. Exactly. That's why I'm predicting that 17 million letter number to at least double in 2024, and it's going to be anybody's guess. It will not be less. Okay, so wait. Okay, so I'm going to get into this. We're going to get into the story of how the IRS is going to simplify their letters. Let's take that first break. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9.
For dependable, complete, and professional auto service, see Tri-City Tire Service. With years of experience, they care about their customers, and it shows. From complete auto service and brakes, alignments, tune-ups, and oil changes to North Carolina inspections, Tri-City Tires got you covered. They carry tires for commercial, farm tractors, and ATVs. Tri-City Tire Service, your local tire and auto service center, 221 Daniel Road in Forest City. Call them at 828-287-8778.
I want to tell you about a little-known Rutherford County gem. Integrity Marble and Granite, located at 287 Shiloh Road in Forest City. They are the premier stone fabrication company in the western North Carolina region. They specialize in granite, marble, and natural stone, offering complete design and installation. Their design center and Kohler showroom features vanities, decorative accessories, bathroom, and kitchen fixtures. You do not have to go to Charlotte or Asheville for this kind of quality. We have it right here in Forest City. Stop in their showroom and browse their beautiful displays, or you can call 828-247-8801 for a free quote. You can also go to their website, www.integritymarblegranite.com. and look at the pictures and see samples of their available materials. Now, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes, and they will give you $100 off any sink purchase. That's Integrity Marble and Granite. We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. Okay, so let's get into it. IRS launches Simple Notice Initiative redesign effort. Shorter, clearer letters to reduce taxpayer confusion. About 170 million notices sent to individual taxpayers annually. 170. That is one letter for every 2 Americans from the IRS. And that's estimated. I think it's way more than that. Washington, the Internal Revenue Service today announced work is underway in the Simple Notice Initiative, a sweeping effort to simplify and clarify about 170 million letters sent annually to taxpayers. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Do you know, I went back and listened to this. One of the very first programs I did here on WCAB 10 years ago. We're celebrating our 10th year, Emily. This is our 10th year. 10 years ago was because of letters from the IRS. And I talked about that. I said, so many people come up to me and they bring me this letter and they with literally tears in their eyes go, what is this even saying? That's why you need Emily and me. See, we take care of this for you. As enrolled agents, you don't have to talk to the IRS because we speak legalese. We should give it a name. What is it? Ferocics. That's Latin for taxes. We speak Ferocic. Let me get back to the letter. Part of the larger transformation work taking place at the IRS with, okay, wait for it. This is all part of the Inflation Reduction Act, which increased inflation. Okay, when the Inflation Reduction Act came out, inflation went up like 3 points. The Simple Notice Initiative will build off redesigned notice efforts in place for the 2024 tax season. and expand on a recent successful pilot involving identity theft letters. The Simple Notice initiative will review and redesign hundreds of notices with an immediate, Emily, focus on the most common notices that individual taxpayers receive. The redesign work will accelerate during the 2025-2026 filing season, improving common IRS letters going out to individual taxpayers, and then expanding into notices going to businesses. Well, yeah, because business people know they're just going to call me. It's the individual, it's you individual people out there that have a problem with the IRS that stick your head in the sand and bring me these letters unopened because it's so frustrating. Business people get a letter from the IRS. It's so funny because I've been in meetings. You know, we'll have our meeting, whether if some businesses I get together once a month or whatever, and they'll go, got a letter from the IRS, give it to Gilbert. They open it, look at it, give it to Gilbert. That's the way you need to be. Don't let these things sit. But I see why people do it. So the IRS, then they're recapping the story a little bit. The IRS sends 170 million notices to individual taxpayers every year, covering a range of issues. Oh, well, you know, I just realized that. This is individuals. No wonder I felt like that number was light. That's individual. That's not including businesses.
Yeah. It's just individual taxes.
Which get as many or more. Covering a range of issues from claiming the credits to reductions and reductions to which they're eligible for, as well as meet their tax obligations. These notices are often long and difficult for taxpayers to understand, and they do not always clearly and concisely communicate the next step a taxpayer must take.
Read that. Never. They never clearly and concisely communicate.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do not always. So,
So
you want me to substitute never? They never clearly and concisely communicate the next steps a taxpayer must take. Yeah, good. Simplifying and clarifying these letters will make it easier for taxpayers to understand the tax issues involved, said IRS Commissioner Danny, how do you pronounce it? Werfel. I've heard it pronounced several ways. Werfel. By the way, Danny Werfel is a career leech. He's been the IRS commissioner before. He was the IRS commissioner before Dan Kaskigian. I guess you got to have a last name that nobody can pronounce to be the IRS commissioner. Danny Kaskigian. No, not Danny. What was his name? Chuck Kaskigian. So he was.
I thought it was Chuck Reddick.
Chuck Reddick, and what was Kaskigian's first name? Well, and I talked about him a lot. Anyway, this guy is a career bureaucrat. I listened to hours, by the way, of him testifying last April in front of a congressional committee that dragged him out of his musty office and made him come and explain why everything's a mess at the IRS. And talk about a guy that dished up a word salad. I mean, everything was, we're looking forward to. Everything was, we're looking forward to. And everything had a 2 and 3 and 4 year timeline. Everything. Even this letter, 24, 25, 26. Mm-hmm. There's no matrix. There's no, we're going to get this done now. That's why they hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants it done now. He wants a big, beautiful whatever. I want a big, beautiful letter. I want big, beautiful letters sent to everybody, and I want them done now. These guys, their timeline is like a decade. Who even remembers? But they spend the money. That's the point. So Danny Welfare. This will help. Warfel.
I like that better.
Warfel. Danny Warfel. So this is his second time as IRS commissioner. Is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, this is his second time. And nothing personal. I mean, nothing personal against the guy, but he's a politician. He's a politician, and when he's not IRS commissioner, he's in some think tank thinking and advising and consulting. So this will help reduce questions and save headaches for taxpayers, the tax professional community, as well as the IRS.
They're going to save us headaches.
And they're going to save us headaches. No, I like headaches, Danny. Improving these letters is also critical to our internal operations at the IRS because it's important for the IRS to know what these letters mean. That's really what he's saying there. And an important part of our transformation efforts, I mean, even this right here is a word salad. Clearer letters can create a ripple effect, reducing taxpayer phone calls and visits and freeing up IRS staff to help others. That's nice. I feel the warmth there. This initiative builds on the IRS paperless processing initiative announced in August 2023, which is another farce, because what is the first thing the IRS asks for you? They want a paperless initiative, but you can't email them. You cannot email the IRS, but they want to be paperless. You can fax them, Emily. We should say this together, when their fax machines work.
Yeah.
Which is not that often. You can fax them.
It's getting better.
It is getting better?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of time with the IRS. Thank you for doing that. I'm so glad. I was so happy when Emily passed her last EA exam. I was like, oh, this is great. When she got that license in the mail, I was so happy. So the initiative builds under paperless processing initiative, which the first thing they ask when they come is, you need to print those. Print them and get them to me. Mail them to me. We literally will send, the biggest package I've ever sent was 4 inches thick to the IRS. 4 inches of paper. So that's their paper, and that's double-sided. That's their paperless processing initiative.
Well, they're trying to get to that document upload tool. It's not up and running for everybody, but I think they are trying to run some pilots with it.
Have you used it?
Not yet.
But I heard a client called the
One of the
IRS.
letters that we got recently, one of the ways you could respond to it was through the document upload tool. They give you a code, like scrambled letters and numbers
Okay.
to access it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
I was hoping to last night. You had told me to ask the agent about it. She didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't know what I was talking about. And this is their big tool. This is their big thing that you're going to be able to upload now
That's what they were talking about at the IRS forum.
at the forum that we were at in August. At the IRS Paperless Processing Initiative. So the lady last night wasn't clear on what I was talking about. But that's okay. It's a big organization. They're going to get it. They're going to get it figured out, Emily. I'm positive. Okay, so let me go to page 2 of this simplified. Oh, there's a page 2.
Yeah, there's a page 3
There's
also.
actually a page 3.
I'm on
Yeah.
page 3 already.
Oh,
I'm
thank
just
you.
waiting for you to catch
Thank
up.
you, Emily. Okay, so, well, really, it's just more word salad. The IRS sent 20 million. See, we've been saying 17 million, but the Simple Notice Initiative builds on the IRS continuous efforts to improve notices. During the last year, the IRS reviewed and redesigned 31 notices. Oh, because they weren't all you might owe. You might owe letters with 17 million, but they reviewed notices that they sent out 20 million notices to people. I mean, the numbers are staggering. And by 2025, they're hoping to have 90% of these letters. Okay, so the recent pilot program, there's what we're talking about. The IRS also clarified instructions and added a QR code. Because everything's a QR code now, Tom. Everything it's all about QR. I was at a restaurant, and they had QR codes on the menu so that you could self-order. You literally just QR coded.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want a hamburger. I don't want to have a computer experience. I literally... Can I a hamburger? Which is
With, the actual waiter coming to your table.
yeah.
It's the whole contactless COVID thing.
Yeah. No, they didn't even like, and you couldn't even give them cash, so you had to pay with the QR code. The QR code. Everything was a QR code. We actually have QR codes. We're gonna work them into some of our advertising. It does make life simple for some things, but having a QR code that's just gonna take you to a website and having a QR code to interact are two completely different things. And I don't know where it's going to go. We'll see. So then blah, blah, blah. So they sent a redesigned 5071C notice to 60,000 taxpayers. They followed the results of that. They said they had more engagement and whatever. So I guess that's a success. What is a 5171? Oh, here it
It's
is.
the ID. You need to call us and get verify.
Yes.
So, like, they took the LTR 5071C and made it look like a CP notice.
That's
How is that simplified?
Right. And I've seen that. I've seen this letter. We've gotten copies of it. I got this letter, and it looked like... So basically what they're doing is they're adding... I wish we could... That's the problem with radio. I'm holding it in front of my microphone so you people can see this.
They changed the font. They added more color blocks. Well, they're probably still all black and white.
No, there's actually the one had some color. It was a shade of gray.
And,
That's it. That's what they've done. And they've
they made
simplified
it from 7 pages to 2.
Right, because the QR code is taking up the slack. Let me tell you one thing they could do immediately to help everybody. Stop sending 2 letters to the same household. So if a husband and wife files a tax return and there's a problem, and I get it. I get the thinking behind it. A lawyer came up with this. I know a lawyer did this because only a lawyer thinks this way. The husband and wife did it. Therefore, they should each get a copy of the letter. Right? Understood. I see the logic behind it. But in reality, it would save millions of dollars, millions and millions of letters. And it confuses people. I have people call me. I got a letter that I owe, which they knew, they know they owe the money, right? I got a letter that I owe $3,000, and my wife got a letter that we owe $3,000. Does that mean we owe $6,000? Does that mean she owes half of it? I owe half of it? What does this mean? And then I'm like, no, they have to do that because you're both on the tax return. So if they, right there, get rid of that, that's about 40 million letters they won't have to send out. And, or at least say on there, this is, well, whatever. So, okay, so that's all they've done. They put some color blocks.
They listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes.
Oh,
So
I know they're listening.
Advice.
Oh, I know they are listening. As a matter of fact, we happen to know. Folks, I'm not being funny. Those of you listening out there, we know, we were at the forum, and we know for a fact, because we were told, there is an IRS person that listens to us. So we know that there's at least one that listens to us. As a matter of fact, he pulled it up while I was there. Okay, so, I said, are you a fan?
Well, we say stuff on Saturday, and it's like Monday morning it comes out on their newswire, and you're like, wait a minute.
That's a little too coincidental. Yes, they are listening. Yeah, so Kamala, are we good? We good, Kamala? I bring her up because Kamala Harris, this is crazy. This comes from, and we'll take a break here. This comes from an administration. I listened to that Danny Warfare, and literally the guy was dishing up a word salad. He couldn't just say yes, no. And you can go to C-SPAN and pull this up and listen to him if you doubt what I'm saying. This is the guy that's going to simplify our letters. I mean, we have an administration. Kamala Harris has made a career out of dishing out word salads. I mean, her famous working together. We're going to work together, Tom, to work together so that we can convene and work together. She actually said this. I was listening to him this morning. It's kind of like I felt like a moth to a flame. It's like I wanted to listen more because it's so like, what's her thought process like? It's like just like a rambling, like a little merry-go-round. It just goes around and around and around. And she says the same thing 5 different ways. You know, I mean, who doesn't like a big yellow school bus? What? She actually said that. And we have a president that, I mean, when he heard of this, he immediately said, I'm so happy to see this. So those are the people that are doing this. Yeah, I know. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. And Emily, you're going to talk about this tax bill. We're getting a lot of phone calls about this. People are like, how much money are we going to get? What if I've already filed my tax return? Should I wait to file my tax return? The Congress is on TV saying they're going to give us more money. Yeah. Okay, let's take a break. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. I want to tell you about another great local business, Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949. Sean is a licensed general contractor. He can do your job from site development to completion. That's Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949 and tell him Gilbert Talks Taxes sent you.
A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from Dia Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the United States trust the team at Dia Signs and Graphics. With 25 years of professional experience, we have the ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but Dia Signs and Graphics can print banners of all sizes. If you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle graphics, call on Dia Signs and Graphics today. We offer a full line of sign products for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are just a part of a complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call Dia Signs and Graphics today at 286-4900 or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check our website for more suggestions at diasignsandgraphics.com.
And D&S Signs has moved. They're now at 1621 Porsford Road in Rutherford. That address again, 1621 Porsford Road.
We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. Those of you live streaming, thank you so much at www.wcab.com. You are listening to the audio. Those of you picking us up later on YouTube, you are watching Gilbert and half of Emily, because that monitor is blocking her, here live in the Blue Room on this January 27th. We are live. This is live radio. It doesn't get any better than this. I'm watching my time because I do want to talk real quick about seniors and Social Security, because some of them are going to find themselves paying some taxes. And I think this is going to sandbag them. I really do. And I'm talking about savings. Americans should start saving. But you're going to talk about this bill. So it's getting a lot of press. Right. Okay. It's an election year. Let's just stop and look and just, what are the facts here? The facts are 2024, it's an election year. All of a sudden, Congress and Senate care about struggling families.
Well, all of a sudden, it's a good idea to extend the Trump-era tax credits, is what I see.
Yeah. So this is whether, okay, I know we got a lot of people listening on both sides of the Trump spectrum, as I call it. You love them, you hate them. Nobody seems to be in the middle. You love them, you hate them. Whether you love him or hate him, what was the thing Joe Biden said he was going to do besides give Corn Pop a cabinet position? What did he say he was going to do? He said he was going to get rid of the Trump tax cuts because they were horrible. Did he get rid of any of them? No. Why? Because they're not horrible. They were excellent. Okay, whether you love or hate Trump, they were good, and you as an American, if you're an American taxpayer, you benefited from them. Bottom line. Okay? Bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
You benefited from them. So, it's like it's like, I remember there was a liberal, Ronald Reagan, and the guy had written a book about how horrible Ronald Reagan was, and the guy made millions of dollars, and because of Ronald Reagan's tax cuts, he hardly paid any taxes on the millions of dollars. He said, I am so conflicted right now. He didn't know what to do, right? So it's the same thing with this. So now they're extending the Donald Trump tax cuts. Yeah, so that's the bottom line.
It says the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act of 2024. I think that's the name of it. From what I understand, it's cleared the Ways and Means Committee, which it's going out to be approved by Congress. But as of Friday, close of business, it was not enacted into law or approved. But a lot of the things they're looking at, it would up the child tax credit,
Right.
and extend some of the other business credits.
And the depreciation, the 100% bonus depreciation. That's the big one that all businesses are all up in arms and calling me about. That's the big one because, that thing, there's a whole scale and it's gone down, so it gets it back up to 100%.
They were also talking about reviving bonus depreciation back to 100%,
yeah.
and all kinds of stuff that we've been planning for it not to be there, and so
Yes.
it supposedly would be retroactive. The child tax credit, they're talking about increasing the refundability from $1,600 to $1,800, so $200 extra you could get per child.
Per child. Yeah, it's $200. Somebody said it was $2,000 more. I'm like, no. It's $200. So this isn't like, I said it last week, and I really, To me, a dollar's a dollar. If they owe me a dollar, I want it. Because if you owe them a dollar, they want it.
With interest.
And penalty. So, right? So, I mean, there is no small amount of money. But on the other hand, let's be realistic here. They give this long speech about suffering working families, and like the governor of Michigan is going to give them $75. It's great. So a family of 5 can go to Chick-fil-A for lunch. I mean, it's not, I mean, if you really cared, make it $7,500, right? Make it a real amount of money.
Well, then they're going to adjust it for inflation in 24 and make it 1,900, and by 2025 it'll be at 2,000, and that's just the refundable part that you can get back.
Right. Right. So 300. We're talking about $300 now instead of $200. Which I get it. I mean, I get it, and it's millions of people they're talking about. So multiply that by millions, and pretty soon you're talking about real money. So, but that's the bottom line of what it is. The big thing is the extra money for the children and the bonus depreciation, getting that back to 100%. And again, like Emily just said, we've been planning for it to be at a certain rate, because it went down 90%, 80%, 70%, and eventually it's going to just totally disappear. So businesses have been planning this way. Now, you still have Section 179. You business people out there know what I'm talking about. You have Section 179 depreciation at $1,080,000, and you've got these other things out there. But any little bit helps on the depreciation side. Go ahead.
They're also talking about increasing the information reporting threshold from 600 to 1,000. So that's the 1099s, right?
1099 non-employee compensation and the 1099 miscellaneous, that there is a $600 threshold. So if you have a subcontractor, contract labor, or rents or royalties or whatever, and you're going to give them a 1099, the threshold has, and it's been that way forever. At $600. Now they're talking about raising it to $1,000, which I really think it should be like $2,000.
Yeah, to adjust for inflation.
Yeah.
Really?
$400 does not adjust for inflation. It's never been adjusted. It's been $600 since like Ronald Reagan, since the Tax Act of 1986. It's been $600.
There's also some provisions for losses and disaster relief, and they're going to relieve the residents of Taiwan of double taxation.
That's great, because those...
And to pay for the tax cuts over the 10-year budget window,
Tell me about
tighten
that.
enforcements and make other changes to COVID-era employee retention tax credits.
Well, that thing's going to go away.
Well, yeah, but now they're going after people. They've already put 4 folks in jail.
4 are in jail now? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know I've shared some stories on the radio. I don't think you were with me, but one of my clients, one of my very close friends in the industry, said that he had somebody come through the door, that legal enforcement is coming after him, and he was going to court, to tax court. It was very serious, and it's criminal court. It's not just tax court. It's criminal court. Yeah, they're coming after him. And his whole thing is, he was sold a package by a promoter who told him he could do it. But tax court's going to say, no, you are responsible for what's on that tax return. And that's what people don't understand. I just had this with somebody. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. People fill out a tax return. They go see somebody who's a tax preparer. Emily and I are enrolled agents. We actually have little cards in our wallets from the IRS. Our authority comes from the IRS. We have numbers and licenses and all kinds of things. We can pick up the phone and talk to the IRS and represent you. That is a serious thing. So people go and they go to these tax preparers, and they think they're getting all this liability protection. They're getting nothing at all. As a matter of fact, we've had 3, Emily, in the last couple of weeks come to us that went to 3 different people. And they said they got letters from the IRS, the 170 million letters. They got letters from the IRS, took them to the tax preparer, and the one lady said, "Oh, I don't help you with that." And not only that, she didn't sign the tax return. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we signed the tax return. So where do you think this is going to go before we take a break, our last break?
I mean, it might pass, but how soon?
Yeah.
So we just keep doing what we're doing, and then, if it's retroactive, they said they'll take care of it.
Just like they did during COVID with
And if they
when they
don't,
changed
we'll amend and
we'll amend and move on. Because it's really only affects a population that have the children or the population that has the business. I mean, this is going to affect a finite group of people. This isn't for everybody, you know? So, no, yeah, we're not stopping doing tax returns. Because they're saying there was stuff out on the news. Wait, don't do your tax return. Hold off.
yeah.
That felt like a plant from the IRS, so they don't get overwhelmed with the 150 million. No, I'm telling you, you're laughing at me because you know I'm just. There's under every rock there's a conspiracy, but the IRS they like to slow that thing down. They don't want to get 100 because you know they get 150 million tax returns in the first couple of weeks. The bulk of them come in.
Because everybody wants their refund.
Everybody wants a refund. So they're trying to slow that train down. They're going to hold a carrot out there, and they're going to say, if you wait 6 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever, you're going to get $200 more. Because the people are calling the office and asking us. And people aren't even my clients. They're just people that are calling. Should I wait? No, don't wait. For
Well,
what?
it's like the topic of the weekend. Everybody wanted to know, did Congress pass it? I'm like, the last thing I read, they were, out of committee, but then they took a recess.
They're on recess right now.
So they left
Yeah.
us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a cliffhanger. Okay, let's take a break. Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert and Emily Talk Taxes. WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9.
This is Kimberly. If you owe the IRS for prior years or you have unfiled tax returns, don't call those national toll-free numbers. Affordable, secure, and local help is available for you. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300. Gilbert is an enrolled agent permitted to practice before the IRS. Taxation is his specialty. He knows the latest laws to help you with your problem. Avoid garnishments, levies, and liens. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300.
Hi, I'm Sandra. My husband Peterson and I own Precision Detail and Tint. We invite you to come to our new location at 620 U.S. Highway 64, Rutherfordton, on the corner of Silvers Lake Road and Highway 64. Whether you need specialty detailing for your car, RV, or boat, or window tinting for your automobile, or home or business, we can help you. Voted Best of Rutherford County for 11 straight years, you will know you will get quality work at a good price. Stop by for an appointment or call 828-245-8889. We're open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 1.
As we get ready for this year's tax season, there's one thought on everyone's mind. Will Gilbert's hair look fabulous this year? Oh, yes, it will. How can I say that? Because I go to Robin Saunders at RSL Salon. Whether it's a good haircut, a pedicure, or a manicure, you can count on RSL Salon. Call Robin at 828-289-9110 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. Give my telephone number out again, 828-289-9300, to get your tax return done. As Tom told a friend that asked about what's the best way to do your own taxes, Tom said, don't do it. Don't do it. Call Gilbert. Don't do it. Call Gilbert. I like that. That should be our slogan. Don't do it. Call Gilbert. So the 170 million letters and all this tax law stuff and going to people that don't have a plan, we actually have a plan for how to deal with that 170 million letters that's going to end up. You're going to get one. It's just a matter of time. People say, oh, I'll never get a letter. Walk through our door 3 weeks later with a letter in their hand. And most of it's random. We actually have a taxpayer, an IRS advance notice program. And I've talked about it a little bit on the air, but we actually have a method, a system, so that you don't have to talk to the IRS. We take care of it for you. You need to come see me, 828-289-9300. And the days of a simple tax return are over. I understand people that have one W-2, two W-2s, don't think they have a problem. I'm telling you, the day's going to come when there is going to be no simple tax return anymore. Okay, I've got 10 minutes left. I don't talk a lot about investing and the investment side of it because I feel like that's a whole program by itself. But I want to bring this up. Folks out there, if you're concerned about what's in your portfolio and you don't know what's in your portfolio, and my thoughts just went to this because this next story is about Americans just aren't saving. Actually, this is an Epoch Times, and it caught my eye as I was reading the headline. I said earlier, what's the number? It used to be that the average, that's real newspaper folding here, folks. This is the real thing. This isn't some computer screen. Remember those days when you would do that, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd have a cup of coffee.
That's it.
You'd open the newspaper and have a cup of coffee. Oh, I went to the wrong page. So the percentage of Americans that is saving money. I got my Kamala Harris story. I got all kinds of things happening here. Emily, help me, huh? Yeah, I've got too many too many pages here, and too many coffee stains. So it used to be back in the day. It's right here. Back in the day, we need a bigger table is what we need. Back in the day, it was estimated 10%. Americans saved 10% of their income. You remember It's a Wonderful Life? Everybody had their money.
Right.
Where? In the savings and loan. Yeah. Everybody had their money put away. 10%. They had it there. So when something happened, you got it. Personal savings. So this has really got people concerned. U.S. savings rates plummet as consumer debt surges. It's a bad combination. Saving goes down, debt goes up. The personal savings rate has been on a downward trend since hitting an all-time high during the pandemic. Well, people didn't have anything to go spend the money on. And I think those numbers are artificial because people were got those payments from the government, and they were just letting them sit in the bank because you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't, all you could do is sit at home and order from Amazon. And so what happened is I think it was an artificial view of how much money was being saved. But anyway, fueled by higher consumer prices, real wage growth falling behind the cost of living, and rocketing borrowing costs. So November 2023, the personal savings rate, a percentage of disposable personal income. Are you ready for this? The average American, this is average, personal savings, 4.1%. 4.1% of their income they are saving. This has been less than it has been less than 5%. So this was as of June. The other thing, though, is net savings as a percentage of gross national income has been negative. So as a nation, we are going negative. It's actually been negative 0.7%, which is under a percent, for every period since the last couple of years. So savings is negative. We're at 4.1%. So what does this mean? Really, people are insolvent, is really the bottom line. Most people are insolvent. And if you're saving 4.1% as an average and inflation is at 8%, I mean, think about that. It's just bad. A lot of people don't know what's in their portfolios. And I will review your portfolio. I will look at it. We can do an analysis, very simple analysis. A lot of people don't know what's in their portfolio. And I've had people that have been shocked to find out that things are in their portfolio that they just don't agree with. I had a man come and he had a bunch of money. The previous people he was working with put a bunch of money in they're called basically it's DEI stuff. It's diversity, inclusion, equity stuff. And he's like, what is this? And it's losing money. He's like, what is this? I said, well, you're basically investing in woke companies. If you don't know what's in your portfolio, you really need to have somebody look at your portfolio. Is your portfolio tweaked? Is your portfolio ready to take the hit with this stuff? As a financial planner, as a tax planner, I mean, I have full securities licenses. I can do this. Bring me your portfolio. Now, when people bring me when I'm doing their tax return, you bring me the 1099 information, your 1099B, your 1099R. You bring those things to me. But I'm starting to ask people, I want to see your actual statement. I want to see your portfolio. I want to see what you're invested in. I mean, as Christians, I've had some people tell me, when they look at what it's in, they go, well, those are companies I don't agree with. I said, well, you're in it. You're in it big. alcohol, tobacco. I mean, again, you may want that. That's fine. It's up to you. It's individual. I'm not going to tell you, but at least I can tell you what's in there. People have no idea what's in there because it'll be a fund. They have a fund name, Global Progressive Fund. Sounds great, doesn't it? Global Progressive Fund. It was a bunch of DEI companies that were all losing money. Mm-hmm. One guy had a portfolio that was like 30% crypto. He didn't even know it. He said, what is all this stuff? He goes, what's Binance? Yeah. Let me take a look at that. Let me just bring that by the office. And I can do that. When I'm doing I don't have to do your tax return. If you want a financial planning meeting, you can ask for that when you call. Let me talk real quick. In 4 minutes we've got left. Seniors on Social Security. So everybody was all excited about getting that 8.7% COLA, cost of living adjustment. Woohoo! Everybody on Social Security was all thrilled, right? Number one, inflation is really double digit. I think it's 12 to 13%. It depends. Yeah, Tom. Yeah. I see you've bought eggs lately. And again,
or anything else at the grocery store.
Yeah, anything. I mean, you've gone to a restaurant. So inflation's double digit. Well, so 8.7%. They came up with that number. Fine. Okay, that's the number. Well, what it's done is, as Social Security benefits increased last year, some beneficiaries might end up with a higher tax bill. In 2023, Social Security gave you that 8.7% COLA. The average retired worker is receiving $1,827 a month. It was up from $1,681. The new amount has pushed some senior citizens over the threshold of having to pay federal taxes. So a lot of people don't realize that you do pay taxes on Social Security. I have had people say, you don't pay taxes on Social Security. Yes, you do. There's just a threshold. And if you go over that threshold, you pay taxes. And for people that are collecting Social Security and working a job, there are some limits on how much money you can make before that kicks in. Now, for individual taxpayers, the total, I'm watching the time here, so I'm really going to nutshell this. For individual taxpayers, if total income is between $25,000 and $34,000, then up to 50% of Social Security benefits may be taxable. However, if the income is greater than $34,000, up to 85% of Social Security can be taxable. Okay, so there's these thresholds that only 50% of your Social Security can be taxable. Then the next threshold is 85%. And that's it. There is no 100% of your Social Security being taxable. So what happens is, and this is for married couples filing jointly, up to 15% of Social Security income is taxable if the combined income is between $32,000 and $44,000. And it jumps to 85% if it goes over $44,000. Well, minimum wage is, minimum wage is, that's pretty much out the window. I mean, last time I looked, Chick-fil-A, poor Chick-fil-A, I'm picking on them. Chick-fil-A's starting is like $17 an hour. I mean, entry-level jobs are paying $16, $17 an hour. If you're working full-time at an entry-level job, you're making $30,000 a year. I mean, I said this a couple of years ago, married couples are going to be making over $100,000 a year just with regular jobs. And people were like, oh, you really? You really think so? We're seeing it now. It's happening now. I mean, I'm having married couples with just normal jobs, folks. I'm not talking about, professionals. I'm not talking about white collar. I'm just talking about normal jobs. You are having married couples incomes being over $110,000, $120,000. Where $60,000 a year now is not that much money.
Texas.
Huh? Texas.
Texas.
Oh, Texas.
You didn't talk about Texas.
Oh, Tom, how much time do I got left? Okay, so seniors, I've just got a warning. You may have to pay some taxes. Why is Texas important to all of us? Because it's showing the federal government that there are governors that are going to take a stand. Philippians 4:6, be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. And there's a lot of anxiety out there right now. Tom, I'm going to go over a minute. I'm sorry. And be anxious for nothing. But Texas is showing the federal government. That's why they hate Trump. That's why they're afraid of Abbott. That's why they hate what he's doing. It's not that he's putting up a bunch of razor wire. It's that he's saying enough is enough to an out-of-control federal government. That's what, and it affects all of us. 21 governors have joined Abbott, have signed on, and are supporting him. And it's local government, folks. Please get involved in these local elections. It's very, very, very important. I'll get more into it next week. We're going to see a lot develop. By the way, Trump is still winning the New Hampshire primary. Last time I looked. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. I'll be back next Saturday. WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9.